Good afternoon. My name is Alina Shevtsova. I am an immigration attorney from Brooklyn, New York. In today's video, I would like to provide you with some updates regarding constantly changing immigration laws of the United States. Well, the first update is a good news. TPS, or Temporary Protected Status for El Salvador, was extended for 1 more year. It means that all those Salvadorians who are in the United States will be able to have work permit, and what's more important, will be able to use advance parole to travel. And advance parole is very important because if you received TPS you received TPS and you did not have legal entry into the United States, while you have TPS, you qualify for advance parole and can travel outside of the United States and come back, and now you will have that legal entry that you may use to adjust your status in the United States. You will be paroled. So that's a very important benefit of TPS. And of course, TPS protects people from physically being deported outside of the United States. TPS is also for those who have orders of removal or deportation, but those orders will not be affected, those orders will not be used against the people as long as they have valid TPS status. Please do not forget to apply and reapply for TPS when you have to. I've seen many situations when the person will think, well, now I have a chance of adjustment of status, I feel pretty good about that, and I do not want to pay application fee, and I will not resubmit my application. It's a big mistake. Please don't do this, because time and time again I meet people who relied on their adjustment of status application that was never granted, and during that time they did not reapply for TPS. You should always apply for TPS. Okay, so that's one news. One more news. That news actually was a little bit older, but nevertheless very important. It concerns special immigrant juvenile status cases. USCIS adopted Administrative Appeals Office decisions and basically stated that from October 15th onward, they're going to use those standards to all new and previously filed cases. And those decisions affect state-issued court orders regarding special juvenile status cases. Specifically, USCIS stated what needs to be in the order of the state court for a person to win their case. As you can imagine, some of those orders will not comply with the new requirements because people simply had no idea that this specific information was supposed to be in those orders, and that's a problem. Now, to fix the situation, as I can see it, because I believe there will be many denials based on those new standards, to fix the situation, a person will have to go back to family court and try to take a special order, what's called then for then, to address the issue of deficiency in family court orders. Specifically, USCIS stated that when a person is declared juvenile, the family court has to mention under which state law it found that the person is a juvenile, and the family court order also has to not just state that the person is dependent on the court. The family court order has to cite specific facts as to why the court intervened into the situation and help the person who was abandoned, neglected, or abused. So for those of you who have pending special immigrant juvenile cases, you will probably be more familiar with what I'm talking about. But basically, many state-issued court orders will have to be amended. And those amendments are very tricky. They have to be done the right way for the amendment not to be effective now, but for the amendment to be effective from the time the court actually issued the order. which for many of you probably would be several years ago. So you need to be aware of that. All right, so the law changed again without due notice, I would say. But those are the most important updates as I see them. Also, you should keep your eye on the forms. The forms, many forms were updated, and some of the new editions will have to be submitted, and the old editions will not be accepted anymore. And always check that when you submit your forms on the website for USCIS, uscis.gov. All the forms are published there. That's where the lawyers take the forms from. We don't invent them. There is no secret place for them. That's where they're at. So I will publish more about various little changes and big changes on immigration law, in the immigration law of the United States, on our website, www.shaltsova.com. Thank you.